I'm going to invite Grant Dodgen and Rebecca Francis to join me here on the chancel. As you just heard Mark say, the three of us and 70 of our closest friends just got back from a week in Washington, D.C. As Doug Haney likes to say, we're singing and serving in the nation's capital. Doug wrote a great article last week about the importance of trips like this and the formative aspects of that for teenagers. So go and find that, and it'll give you all the insights about why trips like this are so important. But I wanted to start by asking the two of you, as Rebecca, a recently graduated high school student, Grant, getting ready to go into your senior year of high school, why do this trip? Why give up a week of your summer and head off to a choir tour?
Yeah, so getting to go on these trips year after year, this was my 6th one this year, it's just really so special to spend a week with 70 people that I love with all of my heart, and finding new experiences, trying new things, whether it's singing in a nursing home or doing a cool mission project or waking up every morning and seeing the Washington Monument out our window. It's just really enriching and just such a special time to get to spend with people.
For me, every winter, I guess I sit down with my family and we make our schedule for the summer. And every year, there's no question about whether or not I'm going on choir tour. It's just a week that I get to spend with people that I love, doing things that I love, worshiping, helping people, singing songs, playing drums, doing lots of fun stuff. So it's a good week, yeah.
Excellent. Well, both of you mentioned the missions aspect of the trip. It is choir, it is singing, and as well serving. So we do partner with local mission agencies in whatever town we go to. So I wondered if the two of you could talk a little bit about one of the mission partners that you particularly connected with and maybe why.
So my favorite mission partner that we worked with over the week was Bread for the World, which is a really unique institution or nonprofit organization that works in the area of hunger. So I would venture to say that most of us in this room have probably worked at a food bank or packed a bag at Thanksgiving or brought peanut butter in for a food drive, and all of that is really, really important. But one of the visuals, if you will, that Bread used for us to kind of explain hunger is that if all of the food that was given out to people in need were condensed or represented by 20 bags of food, only one of those bags would be the food that's given by churches and charities, and the rest of it is given out by the federal government. So that's where Bread for the World can come in, and they work at the federal level to start enacting change in policies to kind of end hunger where it begins and not just treating the symptoms. So I participated at Bread 2 times over the trip. The first time with Just the Year Call Seniors, where we actually went to Capitol Hill and got to lobby for our representatives and senators, which was a really cool experience. And then the second time with the entire choir, we were writing letters to our representatives and senators, kind of advocating for those who need to be helped out in the area of hunger.
One of the groups that I worked with more this week, aside from Bread for the World, was a group called Hunger Van, which is a group, it's sort of a smaller organization than Bread for the World, but what they do is they get volunteer groups to come meet at a church, and we get a bunch of sandwich supplies, veggie bags, good, healthy food, and we make about as many lunches as we can. I think we made 300 the first time, and close to 400 the second time. And then we just go out to places in need. We were at one particular mission that I can't remember the name of, but there were just tons of people around. It was obvious that food was kind of sparse. So, and then we just kind of go walk around the neighborhood and pass out food to people who need it. One of their things is we don't really ask, do you really need this? If they ask for food, we give it to them. We don't know what their situation is. And I thought it was really cool to just get to see the reactions of the people and how much they appreciated that. So, yeah.
Thanks. So I hope what you can hear from just these two stories is that we are trying to expose our youth to as many different levels of involvement as possible, from the actual handing of a sandwich to somebody who might be hungry, to going and talking to lawmakers about trying to enact policy that would stop the systems that put that person in that situation in the first place. So we really were trying to look at this from a holistic perspective and find out ways that even as high school students, they can be actively involved in and really make a difference and a change in the world. Each night, we would gather together and kind of review the day and talk about highlights and whatnot. And Heather Mustaine has helped us over the past couple of years to kind of couch this in terms of where did we see God at work today, whether it be in a singing venue or in our mission sites or a conversation that we had. So the last thing I'll ask each of you is give us a time where you saw God during the week.
So on Monday night, I guess the third day that we were there, we had the opportunity to go sing at a men's homeless shelter. And it was really hot that afternoon. We were in our jeans. We had to walk a really long way to get there. And so by the time we got there, we were all tired. We sang our entire concert on this tiny, cramped stage. And we were kind of running low on energy. And so when we finished singing, whoever was in charge of the homeless shelter was like, all right, now we're going to sing for you guys. And we were all like, okay. Like, we're going to be here longer. We have to, like, what is this going to be like? So a bunch of the men stood up at the front, in just one long line, and someone started on a drum, and they just started singing and clapping for probably 5 to 7 minutes, just going from one song to another. They didn't take a breath. And we were all sitting there up on stage in total disbelief at what we were witnessing. And it was just the most amazing few minutes of seeing people who were in the worst time of their lives, and just the joy that they had, and the way that they were able to praise God. And we talked about it afterward at the gathering, like Darren said, and some of us were like, we don't see how, like, we as teenagers who are pretty well off and have pretty good lives going for us, we don't even worship God the way they do, and they have so little, and we're able to show such joy, and it was really incredible to see.
For me, there's one moment in particular that stands out for the trip. When I was serving out lunches with Hunger Van, there was one man who seemed a little bit more bummed out than everybody else, and he came up, and all he wanted was water. He didn't want food, so he asked for water, and I just asked him how his day was going, what was going on, and he said, I'd love to stay and talk right now, but I can't. I'm about to go get rich. And we're at a shelter in the middle of D.C., and not a very good part of D.C., and that just kind of struck me. And then, so we finish up, we give all the food away, all the water, and we're coming back, and we're in the subway, and there's this man, and what seems to be his best friend, it looked like it, standing in the middle of the subway station, just singing Bob Marley very loudly and clapping their hands with a hat sitting in front of him, and it was the same guy. And so to see that guy who seemed so sad be so happy doing what he loved and singing was really something special. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys both for sharing some of your experiences and memories from the trip. We invite everybody to come back tonight at 5 o'clock. There you go, 5 o'clock, to hear the concert. And feel free to stop a youth tonight, ask them to tell they've all got stories like this and that they would love to share with you. And we would be remiss if we did not say thank you to Wilshire as a congregation for your generosity, both to the budget and also to our special offerings like the spaghetti lunch, to be able to make opportunities like this possible for our students. So thank you very much.